Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's video. I'm David Hanna of Cornerstone Tax, and this afternoon we're going to be talking about the Great Migration from British cities and the impact of buying a cottage in the country. So this afternoon we're going to be touring this beautiful country cottage and its lovely English garden, and we're going to be talking about the effects the pandemic has had on the geodemographics, which is a polite word for saying where, who and where we live during the course of the pandemic, and is it likely to be a persistent trend. There's clear evidence now that during the course of the pandemic people have been moving away from the cities. The most searched terms on Google have been detached, garage and garden, and we commissioned a survey which showed even in the first 12 months of the pandemic 10% of city dwellers had moved to the countryside or to more suburban or ex-urban areas. What's really surprising is that 24% of those surveyed who hadn't yet moved indicated that they would still consider moving to the countryside to get more space, more fresh air and more freedom, probably fearing a recurrence of the pandemic. So why would a property like this have a £52,000 benefit over any other? Well, just follow me and I'll show you. We've got quite a bit of land around us, and you might think that I was about to tell you that this property isn't wholly residential, and arguably it probably isn't. But what's more interesting is that this property actually has an annex. This was added on in the 1980s as accommodation for the owner's son and daughter-in-law who couldn't afford their own home. But the key is that that is a second dwelling. It has its own front door, it's completely lockable and separate from the main house, and therefore when buying this house you get to claim multiple dwellings relief. And that multiple dwellings relief on a property of this value is worth £52,000 off your SDLT. So if you are considering a move to the country, if you are considering a move to a larger home that you intend to share with your parents or your grown-up children, look for a property like this, because in true tax terms it's a lot cheaper for you to buy and live in, and therefore even more attractive in terms of its value. Now, there are other factors involved in assessing SDLT, as I've already said. Is the property wholly residential? Is there commercial activity? In fact, this property has some commercial buildings on its land which are used for a small business, and again, evidence of use by a small business will get you out of the higher residential rates, and indeed the residential rates of SDLT altogether. And when the holiday ends, that's going to be important. All these little things are the things you need to look for if you're going to get your SDLT right. Something that you ought to do before you buy, although of course you could do the research and reclaim it afterwards. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this little walk round this beautiful garden on a lovely, not entirely sunny summer's day, but hey, that's England. If you've liked this video, please click like and subscribe, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you for listening.